Time now, though, to celebrate a man who makes a lot of people very excited at just the mere mention of his name. Andre Rieu is a unique musician and conductor who enchants the world with his passion for classical music and his unforgettable concerts, many of which you can see on TV. As the founder of the Johann Strauss Orchestra, he's made classical music accessible to everyone with his own unique versions of waltzes and music from opera, film, and musicals. Now, Andre is celebrating his 75th birthday with The Dream Continues. And don't worry, if you haven't been able to get tickets to see him live, this show is playing in a host of cinemas. Well, the event is hosted by my guest, Surrey-based presenter, star of shows like Good Morning Britain, the brilliant Charlotte Hawkins. How are you, Charlotte?
Hello, I'm very good, thanks. How are you? All good?
Yes, very, very well here. Thank you very much. And we should say welcome to your local radio station. Many connections to our part of the world.
Yes, absolutely. So I live in Surrey and I was born in Sussex, spent all my childhood in Chichester. So very much my home turf.
Favourite thing about round here, about the southeast?
Oh, I just love having just a bit of greenery. I think as soon as you kind of get out into Surrey, Sussex, you just see the trees, especially on a day like today, it just makes all the difference, I think. Just get a bit of, fresh air. If you're heading out somewhere to take the dog for a walk, you want to see some beautiful scenery, such a lovely part of the world. And some of the little towns and villages, I mean, I've been to quite a few, but I haven't seen all of them yet, but they are just so beautiful and so much history. I absolutely love it as a part of the world to live in.
Well, let's talk about what we can see you in very, very soon in a cinema near us, because you've been working with Andre Rieu for, about a decade now. So how did your connection with him come about?
Yeah, I was asked to go over to Maastricht to help host a concert that was going out in cinemas with him. And that was 14 years ago, believe it or not, actually. And I've been doing it every year ever since that. And I absolutely love it because, he's such an amazing musician. To see him and his orchestra perform is just a really special thing, and I get to interview him as well, so we get to talk about the show, but he tells me all about the orchestra, his dreams, how it is touring the world. And this is a very special show because it's to celebrate his 75th birthday. He invited me to join him for a celebration. It was a boat party cruising down the River Maas in Maastricht in his hometown with the Johann Strauss Orchestra. So there was cake, there was bubbly, and I get to interview him. And as part of this show as well, he has handpicked his favourite performances from his global tours over the years. So it kind of really takes you all around the world, New York to Vienna to Bahrain to Malta to Sydney to Maastricht, of course, his hometown. So you kind of get a glimpse of what it's been like to be with him on tour over the years now. It's a very special show, and the lovely thing is you can just pop down to your local cinema and see it.
That's it. Perfect. Convenient. And I don't know about you, I've spoken to Andre a couple of times myself, and he's a lovely man, but a very modest man. And you would understand if he wasn't modest, wouldn't you? Because of what he's achieved, and the fan base around him are so dedicated to him, and he's just such a popular guy.
Yeah, he is, but he just takes it, he takes the music very seriously. And the thing I love about him is that every single show that he puts on, he puts his absolute all into making it a very special show for the audience, because he really cares about wanting the audience to enjoy themselves. It's been his life's mission to make classical music accessible and engaging for people. And when he first set up the Johann Strauss Orchestra, he was kind of in this world where classical music was very somber, where people in orchestras wore dark clothing and it was all very serious, and he wanted to change all that and breathe new life into it. And his orchestra wears bright clothing, and they play pieces of music that will, surprise you. And people think, oh, Andre, it's classical music, maybe that's not their thing. But actually, if you look down the pieces of music that he's included in this performance, yes, you've got the classical pieces that everyone loves. There's Pierre Jesu, for example, Music of the Night, all sorts of pieces. There's Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. There's YMCA, there's I Will Survive. You can get up and party to this music at the same time. And I think giving those kind of tunes a classical spin, it is what's so special about him. And the fact that he's a great entertainer as well. He just kind of makes sure that it's a really special show. That's what makes it really different.
More from Charlotte Hawkins in just a second as she prepares to host Andre Rieu. The dream continues in cinemas near us. You can find out more details online, by the way, at andreincinemas.com. Back with Charlotte Hawkins after Chapel Rowan. Back we go now to Charlotte Hawkins, who lives here in the southeast and is preparing to host Andre Rieu. The dream continues, a celebration of the brilliant musician's 75th birthday, which you can see in cinemas on the 12th and 13th of April.
You know, he has so many lovely stories about his dream of setting up the orchestra, you know, what it was like, the journeys they've been on, the funny things they've been through over the years, because they are like a family. They spend so much time together at the same time. And I love going there because you kind of feel like one of the gang at the same time. You know, they all obviously hang out together, travel the world together the whole time, but they're so lovely and welcoming. And to, you know, to just sort of be on a boat where we're cruising up and down Maastricht with a glass of bubbly in hand and a piece of cake, it was a really special celebration.
I mean, there are worse jobs than that, aren't there? I mean,
yes, jobs. Yeah, you know, they twisted my arm. So whenever he's performing in Maastricht, for it to be his hometown, obviously he's always lived there. There are so many lovely stories as well about, you know, the castle that he lives in now. For example, he used to have piano lessons in when he was a young boy and he dreamed of owning it. And then now here he is. It's his home, you know, and the people there absolutely love him because he's breathed new life into the city as well. And I remember him telling me the story of when he first had this idea that he wanted to put a big concert on. These are the ones that go out in the summer in the open square in the middle of Maastricht, and everyone was reluctant. They were like, oh, you know, what will it mean? Who will come along? What will it mean for the restaurants and the bars? And now it's a yearly event, and he puts on concert after concert after concert, which is just an amazing thing. And people come from all around the world to see him. But also at the same time, I love the fact that for those people who can't see it live, who can't travel to Maastricht or follow him around the world, that you can go to a cinema, you can just pop down the road, you can sit there, best seat in the house, popcorn in hand, surround sound, and you can get that very next best thing experience of having live music, because I think there's nothing like it. You know, it's good for the soul, and it's guaranteed to put a smile on your face. And I think for whatever age, for whatever type of music you're into, just to actually experience that kind of show, that kind of music that leaps out of the screen at you, there's nothing like it.
And we get to see it in, well, more than 500 cinemas across the UK are showing it over the 12th and 13th of April. If you want to find out the one nearest to you, by the way, the easiest way to do it is to go to andreincinemas.com and you'll find all the cinemas that are nearest to you. But there are a fair few in our part of the world, which is great news. And Charlotte, I'd imagine anyone sitting there watching a show like that is not going to be able to keep still. I imagine feet will be tapping, hands will be clapping.
And I love that as well, because when you watch the show, when you see him perform it live, people are singing, they're, you know, laughing, they're crying. If it's a serious piece of music, they're getting up and dancing. And I know that in cinemas up and down the country, it creates that same atmosphere as well. And how many times do you go to the cinema when people get so involved in it that they want to, you know, sing, sway, clap along with the music, dance? That's what I love about it. And I know we even had a marriage proposal in one of the cinemas one year. So wow. I'm just saying, you never know what will happen if someone gets swept up with all this beautiful music. It can change lives at the same time.
That's fantastic, isn't it? A marriage proposal at the cinema. As I say, if you want to go and watch Andre Rieu, the dream continues. You can see it in more than 500 cinemas up and down the country over the 12th and 13th of April. Best bet is to go to andreincinemas.com and you'll find the one that is nearest to you. Charlotte, while we have you, what else is keeping you busy this year? Anything exciting on the horizon?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've got Good Morning Britain. I've got to get up early tomorrow for that. That's a 2:45 alarm call, so that's the next thing on my list. But something else I'm doing is a dog training podcast. So if you've got a dog or anybody else has got a dog, we're addressing any training issues. That's with the Dogs Trust. So actually, it's really lovely because I love our four-legged friends. So that's something else that's keeping me busy at the moment, is trying to help people out if they've got any dog training issues. Send them to me if you want some help.
Oh, that is fab. Brilliant. Well, we look forward to that. In the meantime, Charlotte Hawkins, thank you so much for your time.
Great to talk to you. Thanks very much, Adam.